Doing Power of the Peaceful with Michael is amazing. He has a really amazing team and everyone that's behind him. And this year's theme is Inspire to Serve. What can we all be doing that is inspiring to get everyone to be serving? So how that's coming up for me, and I've been talking about this in my classes, is compassion, karuna, compassion. And we all, here in San Francisco, which is like, we're here, very sort of luxury in the background with the park. We talk, oh, we see Muni, we see people homeless sitting next to Muni begging for money. We have compassion. But what if compassion was a verb, like an action item, and something we actually took ourselves out of our comfort zone and did something to help the struggling people, like to help that person or to help someone, you know, because we all come to yoga and we have our yogitos and we have our mats and we have our Lululemon and our Prada and whatever the other names of all the, you know, and it's like, and that's amazing and that stuff's great and they're so community driven. I think it's really important to have that. But I'm really focused on like the recovery community for sure. You know, these are people who are coming from the streets, you know, who need a little bit of help, who are like just hanging by that thread, who, you know, if the wind just blew the wrong way, they'd go back out into the world of not in recovery. And so how can we help those folks through yoga wake up and empower them, you know, and inspire them to become empowered to take action themselves in their own lives? I do a very specific workshop on yoga and recovery, and I always get people who have never done yoga before. And I also get people who have a lot of questions about recovery, if they should be in recovery or not. And I won't, and I don't answer that question for people. I don't take on that responsibility. I just always try and reflect, like, you're searching. And so coming to this workshop is a great way to start that search. And then what we do is, I talk about my own life and through my own road in recovery and back out and now back in for many years. So there are people who come to the workshops, like, they're not gonna come and chant. They're gonna come into my workshop after we're done chanting. And I tell people we're gonna talk about God, and we're gonna talk about sex, and we're gonna talk about drugs, and we're gonna talk about money, and we're gonna talk about stealing. We're gonna talk about your problems and other people's problems and just all those things that it's not so okay to talk about. Sometimes people participate a lot. Sometimes people don't participate at all. There can be a lot of fear. And then I have a sequence that I take people through. So I take them through the 12 steps. And I have a sequence for people who are doing more restorative, who don't want to go hard and go that deep, or who can't because they might have injuries. And then I have a vinyasa sequence, but it's more about holding the poses and talking about the step that we are doing, whether it's about powerlessness or unmanageability or insanity or turning it over to a higher power or resentments, character defects, and asking for them to be removed and then making amends, and our inventories and prayer, meditation, and then really what we're doing here today is just really being of service.